Today in the kitchen, a soup of Spanish origin. The main ingredient is sometimes referred to as the stinking rose. That's right, garlic. And the other ingredients are chicken stock, some bread with the crust trimmed off, eggs, salt, paprika, cayenne pepper, and olive oil. First, I'm just going to turn up the heat under the pan here. And we don't want the heat too high, because we're going to put some olive oil in here. About a third of a cup. This is some virgin olive oil. That looks about just right. And we need about a quarter of a cup of crushed garlic. So just let me continue crushing this garlic here. This, incidentally, is garlic out of my own garden. And the reason I chose to use a garlic press today is I just want to show you how much juice comes out of your own homegrown garlic. I got into growing my own garlic about 10 years ago when I discovered that commercial garlic was very, very heavily sprayed with chemicals, and I decided it was a far healthier choice to do my own. Here we go. There's about a quarter of a cup there, and you could even put in a third of a cup. I really like a lot of garlic in my food. Okay, so the oil's coming up there now. It's starting to get warm, and let's just put this in. And all we're trying to do here is just infuse the garlic into the oil. We're not trying to cook it. We don't want the garlic to go brown. We just want to get it a nice, soft, yellow color. You know, garlic is really, really easy to grow. All you do is take some garlic. This is a bulb of garlic, and this is the clove that comes off. This is the root end here. You put the root end down first in some good, rich soil. I usually plant mine in mid-October. I push it down into the ground until the tip is about 2 inches below the soil. Water it in, and it just starts to put its roots out during the winter time, and usually around about February, little green stalks start to come up, and I harvest about mid-July. So here we go. This is cooking a little too hot there. Let's just turn the heat down just a tiny bit. There we go. This is fairly fresh bread that I've got today, but you can use bread that's 2 to 3 days old just as well. You just chop this up a little bit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add this into the pan with the garlic and the olive oil. And we're just going to make a little marriage in there. We're going to get everything all working together. Okay, just a little bit more of this bread here. You know, I've taken the crusts off, but you really don't have to take the crusts off. If you don't take the crusts off, what you have to do is you just spend a bit more time trying to process it and make it smooth at the end. So the garlic's looking pretty good there now. It's softened up. So let's add this bread into the pan. And we don't want to burn this either. All we want to do is get it all mixed together, get all these flavors working. Just move it around so you get olive oil on all the pieces of bread. Go. Maybe you can turn up the heat a little bit more there now. Okay. Now, while that's cooking, and we just want to get a little bit of a golden color to it. On the board here is another type of garlic. So this is my own garlic, and this is called a rocambole variety of garlic, or a stiff-neck garlic, and you can see how it's got a center stalk. And this is some that I picked up at a store, and this is probably referred to as a Chinese garlic or a soft-neck garlic. And you'll see once I open up the middle of it that this has no stalk in the middle. And all it has is these little tiny cloves. And I don't know about you, but when I run out of my own garlic at home and I buy this store-bought garlic, I get really frustrated with these little tiny cloves in the middle, because I surely prefer this stuff here with the big, fat, healthy-looking cloves. Okay, so this is coming along. Don't worry if it sticks to the bottom of the pan. Once we put the stock in, this will start to lift up a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit of paprika in here and get this going into the combination we've got working in the pan. This is going to give a little bit of color and just a little bit of flavor to the soup. Okay, now I'm going to add in some chicken stock. I've got about 8 cups of chicken stock here, and just slowly pour this into the pan. Just pour it away from me so it doesn't splash up. Now, if you don't choose to use chicken stock, You could use a vegetable stock, or you could just use plain old water. Both of them will work just as well. All I need to do now is add a little bit of salt, just a pinch of salt, and we're going to check for seasoning when the soup's finished, because this is a soup that should be really spicy and a little salty and garlicky. So here's some cayenne. Just put a pinch in for now, and we'll check it out later. Okay, at this point, the soup's going to come up to a boil. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to partially cover the pan, turn the heat down, and just let it simmer for about 30 minutes. Let's just check the soup now, and it looks, yeah, that's looking really good. We want to cook it long enough until the bread is softened, because the next step is to puree the soup so it becomes really smooth. Traditionally, this soup was done by hand with a wooden spoon, and it was mixed together, but that takes quite a bit of time. So today I'll just use a little hand blender. It takes a few minutes to do, but it's worthwhile to get all the lumps out. Okay, just move this out of the way, and we'll put the soup back over here on the stove. The last thing we want to do is take 2 eggs, crack them in a bowl, just lightly whisk them together and add them to the soup. So I've got my 2 eggs here, and just crack them into the bowl. And the important point here is I've got the heat off under the soup, and it's not necessary to turn the heat back up again. If you turn the heat up too high, you might end up curdling the eggs. And just very lightly beaten. And I like to use my whisk to beat them into the soup. There. Now, as I mentioned at the top, this soup should be really full of flavor, and you might want to check it at this point, maybe add a little bit more salt, and I usually like to add a little bit more cayenne because I like it spicy. And check it out. Okay, just a touch more salt. It doesn't need a lot of salt, but I do like a little bit more cayenne in there. And we'll just stir that together. And that's it. It's finished. A soup made with really easy to find ingredients that not only taste good, but it's really good for you.